This video is brought to you by Devout Decals, makers of reusable Catholic art for your home altar, your bedroom, and your home classroom.
We continue this week with our look at the prophecies of the coming of the AntiChrist from ancient texts. These are not from the Old Testament. These are not from visions of mystics and that sort of thing. What we're going through here now is with Father R. Gerald Culleton, ancient apocrypha from our so-called elder brothers in the faith. These will be books like the Book of Jubilees, the Book of the Secrets of Enoch, as well as 4th Esdras. These will give us more insight into what the ancients saw as the characteristics of the time of Antichrist, what the world will be like during his reign. And some of it will, of course, strike very, very familiar notes for us in our time. Let me know what you thought of this at the end. And remember, these are, of course, books approved by the church, but not part of sacred scripture, and you are therefore not required to believe a thing in them if you don't so choose. Anyway, the Book of Jubilees. And Enoch was the first among men that are born on earth who learnt writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of heaven according to the order of their months in the book, that men might know the seasons of the years. And what was and what will be he saw in a vision of his sleep, as it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations, until the day of judgment. He saw and understood everything, and wrote his testimony, and placed the testimony on earth for all the children of men. And he was taken from amongst the children of men, and conducted him into the Garden of Eden, in majesty and honor. Behold, there he writes down the condemnation and judgment of the world, and all the wickedness of the children of men. And on account of it, God brought the waters of the flood upon all the land of Eden. For there he was set as a sign, that he should testify against all the children of men, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of condemnation. Enoch's office was ordained for a testimony to the generations of the world, so that he should recount all the deeds of generations unto generation, until the day of the judgment. The Book of the Secrets of Enoch, which was written about 25 years A.D. It came to pass when Enoch had told his sons that the angels took him on their wings and bore him up on the first heaven and placed him on the clouds. And there I looked, and again I looked higher, and saw the ether. And they placed me on the first heaven, and showed me a very great sea, greater than the earthly sea. And I fell prone and bowed down to the Lord, and the Lord with his lips said to me, Have courage, Enoch, do not fear. Arise and stand before my face into the eternity. And the archstrategy Michael lifted me up, and led me to before the Lord's face. And the Lord said to his servants, tempting them, Let Enoch stand before my face into eternity. The glorious ones bowed down to the Lord, and said, Let Enoch go according to thy word. And the Lord said to Michael, Go and take Enoch from out of his earthly garments, and anoint him with my sweet ointment, and put him into the garments of my glory. And Michael did thus, as the Lord told him. He anointed me, and dressed me, and the appearance of that ointment is more than the great light. And his ointment is like sweet dew, and its smell mild, shining like the sun's ray. I looked at myself, and was like one of his glorious ones. And the Lord summoned one of his archangels by the name of Pravuel, whose knowledge was quicker in wisdom than the other archangels, who wrote all the deeds of the Lord. And the Lord said to Pravuel, Bring out the book from my storehouses, and a reed of quick writing, and give it to Enoch, and deliver to him the choice and comforting books out of thy hand. When Enoch had talked to the people, the Lord sent out darkness onto the earth. And there was darkness, and it covered those men standing and talking with Enoch. And they took Enoch up on the highest heaven, where the Lord is. And he received him and placed him before his face. And the darkness went off from the earth, and light came again. And the people saw and understood not how Enoch had been taken, and glorified God, found a roll in which he was traced, the invisible God, and all went to their homes. He was taken up to heaven on the first day of the month of Sivian, and remained in heaven 60 days. He wrote all these signs of all creation, which the Lord created, and wrote 366 books, and handed them over to his sons, and remained on earth 30 days. And was again taken up to heaven on the 6th day of the month of Sivan. All the sons of Enoch made haste, and built an altar at the place called Achuzan, whence and where Enoch had been taken up to heaven. They took sacrificial oxen and summoned all people and sacrificed the sacrifice before the Lord's face. All people, the elders of the people and the whole assembly, came to the feast and brought gifts to the sons of Enoch. And they made a great feast, rejoicing and making merry 3 days, praising God, who had given them such a sign through Enoch, who had found favor with him, and that they should hand it on to their sons from generation to generation, from age to age. The Book of 4th Idris. The day of judgment is decisive and displays unto all the seal of the truth. None shall pray for another on that day, neither shall one lay a burden on another, for then every one shall bear his own righteousness or unrighteousness. And I answered and said, How is it that we now find that Elias prayed for those who received the rain and for the dead, that he might live? And he answered me and said, The present age is not the end. The glory of God abides not therein continuously. Therefore have the strong prayed for the weak. But the day of judgment shall be the end of this age and the beginning of the eternal age that is to come. Concerning the signs of the end. Behold, the days come when the inhabitants of the earth shall be seized with great panic, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land be barren of faith. And iniquity shall be increased above that which thou thyself now seest, or that thou hast heard of long ago. And the land that thou seest now to bear rule shall be a pathless waste, and men shall see it forsaken. If the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see it after the 3rd period in confusion. Then shall the sun suddenly shine forth by night, and the moon by day, and blood shall trickle forth from wood, and the stone utter its voice. The people shall be in commotion, the movements of the stars shall change, and one whom the dwellers upon earth do not look for shall wield sovereignty. And the bird shall take to general flight, and the sea shall cast forth its fish. And one whom the many who do not know will make his voice heard by night. And all shall hear his voice. And the earth o'er wide regions shall open, and fire burst forth for a long period. The wild beasts shall desert their haunts, and women bear monsters. And 1-year-old children shall speak with their voices. Pregnant women shall bring forth untimely births at 3 or 4 months, and these shall live and dance. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Salt water shall be found in the sweet. Friends shall attack one another suddenly. Then shall intelligence hide itself, and wisdom withdraw to its chamber. By many shall be sought and not found, and unrighteousness and inconstancy shall be multiplied upon the earth. One hand shall also ask another and say, Is righteousness, that doeth the right, pass through thee? And it shall answer, No. And it shall be in that time men shall hope and not obtain, shall labor and not prosper. Behold, the days come, and it shall be, when I am about to draw nigh to visit the dwellers upon the earth, and when I require from the doers of iniquity the penalty of their iniquity, and when the humiliation of Sion shall be complete, and when the age is about to pass away, it shall be sealed, then will I show thee signs. Measure the matter carefully in thy mind, and when thou seest that a certain part of the predicted signs are past, then shalt thou understand that it is the very time when the Most High is about to visit the world which he has made. When in the world there shall appear quakings of places, tumult of people, scheming of nations, confusion of leaders, disquietude of princes, then shalt thou understand that it is of these things the Most High has spoken, since the days that were aforetime from the beginning. For just as with respect to all that has happened in the world, the beginning is obscure, but the end issue manifest, so also are the times of the Most High. The beginnings are visible in portents and secret signs, and the end in effects and marvels. In the last days thereof the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and they shall change many things therein. They shall exercise lordship over the earth, and over the dwellers therein with much oppression, above all those that were before them. Therefore are they called the heads of the eagle. For these are they that shall bring to a head his wickedness and consummate his last end. And whereas thou didst see that the great head disappeared, one of them shall die upon his bead, but yet with pain. But as for the 2 who remain, the sword shall devour them. For the sword of the one shall devour him that was with him. Nevertheless, this one shall fall by the sword in the last days. And whereas thou didst see 2 under wings passing over to the head that is upon the right side, this is the interpretation. These are they whom the Most High hath kept for his, meaning the eagle's, end. And their rule shall be the short and full of uproar, as thou hast seen. And as for the lion whom thou didst see roused from the wood, and roaring, and speaking to the eagle, and reproving him for his unrighteousness and all his deeds, as thou hast heard, This is the Messiah whom the Most High hath kept unto the end of the days, who shall spring from the seed of David, and shall come and speak unto them. He shall reprove them for their ungodliness, rebuke them for their unrighteousness, reproach them to their faces with their treacheries. For at the first he shall set them alive for judgment, and when he hath rebuked them, he shall destroy them. These are the interpretations of the vision. Whereas thou didst see a man coming up from the heart of the sea, this is he whom the Most High is keeping many ages, and through whom he will deliver his creation, and the same shall order the survivors. And whereas thou didst see that out of his mouth there came wind and fire and storm, whereas he held neither spear nor any warlike weapon, but destroyed the assault of that multitude which had come to fight against him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High is about to deliver them to that are upon earth. There shall come astonishment of mind upon the dwellers on earth. And they shall plan to war one against another, city against city, place against place, people against people, and kingdom against kingdom. And it shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee before, then shall my Son be revealed, whom thou didst see as a man ascending. It shall be when all the nations hear his voice, every man shall leave his own land, and the warfare which they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou didst see, desiring to come and to fight against him. But he shall stand upon the summit of Mount Sion. And Sion shall come and shall be made manifest to all men, prepared and builded, even as thou didst see the mountain cut without hands. But he, my Son, shall reprove the nations that are come from their ungodliness, which things, meaning rebukes, are like unto a storm, and shall reproach them to their face with their evil thoughts, and with the torments with which they are destined to be tormented, which are compared unto a flame. And then shall he destroy them without labor by the law, which is compared with fire. For still worse evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall yet take place. For the weaker the world grows through age, so much more shall evil increase upon the dwellers on earth. Truth shall withdraw further off, and falsehood be right at hand. For already the eagle is hastening to come, whom thou sawest in vision. And that was the famous vision of eagles from the Book of Idris, featuring Elias and Enoch. Some of that may seem confusing, but what you were given was a description of an age of confusion, an age where men were seeking answers and going to war over those answers. Some great problem that was causing men to line up on one side or another against each other, essentially into a world war. That is the sign of the coming of the man of sin. It's also what will characterize his reign before the coming of the Son of Man. Curious what you thought of this, so let me know in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It does help, as does sharing this on social media. That helps a lot too. As always, pray for the church. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.